Hello, BookTube. Among the many, many BookTube events that are out and about for September, and among the many that I am involved with, one is Framed, the brainchild of Heather, our resident art maven here on BookTube, that is all about art writing, but also art viewing. So there are lots and lots of books out there, lots and lots of artists' biographies of all kinds, lots that I could recommend. The yardstick for whether or not they will be really good will largely depend on whether or not the writer of the biography understands the subject's art. You might think that's a prerequisite, but no, I have read a lot of biographies of painters or songwriters or whatever, where the writer of the book is clueless as to the art. And sometimes that's expected. Who really understands the poetry of George Herbert, for instance? But sometimes it's not. I mean, you know, if you're writing a biography of Paul McCartney or Marcello Mastroianni, it stands to reason you should be really familiar with their work. Not all biographers are. And then there's going to see art and taking your viewers along. Riffraff's Reading Renaissance did a video of that just the other day, where he went to an art gallery and took us along. But there is a third element to Framed, and that is to make art of your own and share it on your channel. And the last time we did Framed, I took advantage of that to have us draw something together. We drew a couple of rooms, and a great number of you said, could you please keep doing that? That was a lot of fun. So I thought, now that we've come around to Framed again, we would do that. We'll do another bit of drawing. Once again, I do not have a sketch pad. So once again, I grabbed an unbound galley copy of a book. In this case, it's this, To the End of the Earth by John McManus. This is the U.S. Army island hopping on its way to conquering Japan. And this is an unbound galley, so this is not even the ARC. This is just pages of the book. Somebody went to the local bindery or the local Kinko's copy shop or whatever and had it bound as a book so they could send it out for early consideration for reviewers. And I picked this one because it's got a blank back. That's all. That's the only reason. But we're not going to draw another room today. Now, all you need for this is a pencil and a B eraser. You need a pencil and you need an eraser. And the reason you need a big ostentatious eraser is because you are not married to anything you do. Take that pressure right off your shoulders. You are not married to anything that you do. None of it has, you don't have to keep it. You don't have to look at it. You don't have to be worried about it or nervous about it. For God's sake, this is all for fun. So that's where I wanted to stress that today. All you need is a blank piece of paper, a pencil, and an eraser. The eraser is to remind you that you do not have to, oh my God, am I going to get this just right? You don't have to get it just right. You don't. You should get that out of your mind. You should blast right along and then clean up later, if you want to save it. 90% of what you draw, you won't save. I draw every night. I save almost none of it. But another BookTube event that I am doing, I hadn't realized how satisfying a prop this is to wave at you. I should do this in every video. Another BookTube event that I'm a part of is Sumerian September. Michael K. Vaughan's event celebrating Conan the Barbarian and the Sumerian Age of Robert E. Howard. And I thought, instead of drawing a room, what if we were to draw Conan for Sumerian September? But then I thought, well, no, before you draw Conan, you have to draw a person. A man. And just the basics, a basic template of a man is what I thought we'd draw today. And we will slowly transform it into a very dramatic picture of Conan. How does that sound? You might think, if you're brand new to drawing with a pencil and a B eraser, you might think that, oh, this is very satisfying. You might think that that's well beyond you, but it's not. It's not well beyond you at all. Nothing is well beyond you. It's all just a matter of practice. So we're going to start with a basic template of a man. And the first place to start is with the head. And you can see the head is roughly an oval. So we will draw an oval. Actually, let me bear down here. I thought for a minute when I was thinking of this video that I would draw in pen so that you could see it clearer, but I thought that might be taunting to some of you who are nervous about your drawing. So there you go, an oval. Simple as that. Now, the head is bisected by the eyes. So you got eyebrows, and then a nose, and then a mouth. and ears on the side, and the ears, the tip of the ear is right about with the tip of the eyebrow. So you've got that. You've got a face. And then suddenly you've got the beginnings of a face. Now, if we're talking about Conan, Conan is of course a massive bull of a man. I don't know that for this template we need that. The important thing to realize when you're drawing the template of a man is to concentrate on the symmetries of the body. Because that will help you a lot. That will help you to know where things go. So that you don't need a model. So you don't need an artist's homunculus or anything like that. You can just draw it on your own. The important thing to do it on your own is to concentrate on the way the body works. So your neck is the outward muscle of your throat. Your throat is a V that goes down to right here, the dip in your clavicle, right there. You can feel it with your finger. The V of your neck goes down straight to that clavicle. So you can do that. There you go. Then you fill in the neck, which, notice, comes from the ear down to the shoulder. Does not, unless you're, really skinny booktuber, it won't come from the hinge of your jaw. It will come from your ear down to your shoulder. If you're Conan, it certainly will, because he's big and brawny. So let's give him a neck, and here I will bear down on this so that you can see it. We'll bear down on the neck. All right, see? So the neck outlines the throat. But the reason why I talked about the throat, and specifically about that dip in the clavicle right there, is because that's going to help you with the rest of it. If the man you're drawing is in really good physical shape, that's going to help you with the rest of it. Because that dip in your clavicle is the meeting point of these two winged bones. These two bones, which are really good to go at if you have a fight on your hands. Go at, actually, it's a bad idea to go after bone in a fight, just in general. Better to go after this. But those two bones are perfectly symmetrical, and they go straight to your shoulder. So that the body is helping you. So draw those lines, right? Here, maybe made that one a little too long, although our Conan could be immense. See, you want to draw those lines. They go out from the dip right there. So you know exactly where they are and exactly what positions them. And those lines, your clavicles, are headed to your shoulders. And the other thing that's headed to your shoulder are your trapezius muscles. They are headed there as well. Right? Oh, those muscles are headed, they're both headed for the knot of your shoulder. So you draw the trapezius on either side, and then you can draw the shoulder, which blossoms out. If you take steroids like the Jersey Juice Boys, then your shoulders will blossom out on either side. See that, though? But you see, you're not just wild in the wilderness here. The dip right here has led to these wing bones here, and they have led to the shoulder. See, these are where the muscles for the shoulder are going to attach. So here is where you weightlifters will get your piano keys. That's what they call them, piano keys. So the body has helped you to do this. You haven't needed to know anatomy. You just need to know what your own body does. The neck is connected to the muscles that move out to the shoulder just the way these bones do. These bones are connected to your shoulders. So there you've got the top of Conan. And then maybe the muscle inserts there. Those are your inserts. You want those to be nice and sharp. And then the arms come down on either side. So the arms come down on either side, but it's probably easier to do the torso first. So, and again, your body will help. Because right about at the place where those wing bones here connect to the ball and socket of your shoulder, right about at that point, if you draw a line straight down, is where your armpit is. Which makes sense, right? Because the mechanism of your arm is that ball and socket shoulder joint. So that's going to be where your armpit is, and it happens to be at the end of the wing that we've already drawn. So you know where to put the armpit. And the armpit on either side, keep in mind, perfectly bilaterally, so you don't have to guess on either side. They're going to be the same height, and the armpit comes from the armpit, extending out underneath your shoulder, is your pectoral muscles. Now in Conan, they're going to be huge. In Robin Song Reed's, not so much. So in Conan, there will be a chest. And there will be a line in the middle of the chest. If you wanted to further the details here, or if our Conan were starving, these clavicles would have a lower ledge as well. You don't have to do that because they don't have to be pronounced if they're all cushion and muscle. But it helps to draw the torso first, right? Conan's torso comes down like that. A little bit hard to do this reversed, but his torso comes down like that to his waist. You don't have to draw any clothing here because we're just doing a template. But again, the body will tell you where and how far it has to go. I have exaggerated these pectoral muscles because we're drawing Conan. But the body is bilaterally symmetrical. So there'll be a line right down there. You probably won't want to draw the line. If a skinny person will have that line, but a muscular person, not so much. And then you know where your rib cage is. It extends out there and out here. And they also are bilaterally symmetrical. And you also know where the edge of your stomach is. It is down the side on either side. Now, if you're drawing Conan and you're going all out, he will have a six-pack abs. All that is, if you remove this line, that line may be confusing you at this point, but all that is just the twistings of your intestines. The muscles that line your stomach are just to guard your intestines. So you could have those if you wanted. That's a little exaggerated here. And then we get to the waist. We will keep this a family channel, so the waist will be nondescript. And it will lead to, in Conan's case, mighty thews. In every Conan story, he has mighty thews. And we will, well, we got to put something there, don't we? Let's, hang on a second here while I make this family friendly. We will put a beagle there. So we know where we're going now. In a normal human, a well-developed human, you would have the wings here for the pelvis on either side, and you would have what is referred to in certain college circles as the happy trail. We won't deal with that on this channel. We will just, from the beagle, we have the mighty thews. And keep in mind, when it comes to Conan, those mighty thews will have visible muscles. There's your upper thigh, if it's in really good shape, will have an inset on either side of muscle. And there will also be one down here that splits for your kneecap, on either side of your kneecap. But the key here, we won't go any further for now with the midsection here. Instead, we forgot about the arms. And you need to remember the arms. And the key to remember about a man's arms is that they extend so that his hands are exactly at the place where they can pet the beagle. That is just the way the gods, presumably male gods, designed men. So you already know that. You know where the hands are going to be. They're going to be right here. I don't make the rules. The hands are going to be right there. And that gives you an idea of what your arms can do. Because you need to work in for your arms both the upper arm and the forearm, all the way down to the hand. So let's do that, and let's keep in mind here that our Conan is extremely well defined. We're drawing a gigantic Sumerian barbarian, not an ordinary person, or this would look a lot dumpier and a lot different. So we get our arms, and let's clear up some of this mess. That's what our B eraser is for. Here we go. We get our arms all the way down to there, to the beagle. Then we have the hands. Now, hands are a thing on their own. They're not easy, but they're a thing on their own. So in a picture like this, you've got plenty of extra space. You can do some detail studies of what those hands are going to look like. You can practice a little. So we have hands hanging down like that, right? So your hands are hanging down like that. So look at your hand. Out of the wrist, it swells out for the massive muscle that operates your thumb, your most important digit. You got a massive muscle that swells out from there. And your fingers are varying lengths. So if we have Conan's hand open, let's draw a detailed study here, up at the top. Just to get the hang of it, because you're going to have to do this with a smaller dimension down below. So you've got something like that. A hand like that. So open and ready for beagle petting. Something like that. You don't have to show all the fingers because some of them will be behind others. And another, when you finish this picture, another good thing to do would be, again, as you go along, you can clean up the schmutz, but don't worry, you're not wedded to the schmutz. You can do all this again. This was easy to do. Another little detail, when you're finished with this, you can see already some of the problems. The pectorals are too big, so these should be up here somewhere instead of down here. And the hands, I've made the arms a little crouched as if he's bent at the elbow. That will fix itself. This will look a little more natural once you shift this line up here, something like that. Then the torso will come down, and you'll have more room for the hands to stretch more naturally. But you've got that, and then you're done with there. Then you move on to the lower part of the legs, which will flare out for the calf muscles. And you'll have an articulated knee there, but you will also have, when it's Conan, you will also have boots. Of course, Conan will be wearing clothing here, so we don't get all the way to the feet, and that's just as well, because feet are a different thing entirely. Here they will be booted, but when they're not booted, the thing you want to concentrate on is the most important digit on the foot, which is the big toe. So you do that, you do a break, and then let the foot sit and make room for the ankle. See, so we won't do that because Conan's not going to be barefoot in this picture. But there you have the beginning template of a big, swarthy man. Now, we're not going to work on this template when we improve it a little next time. Instead, we're going to make a new template, as you should do. You have a pencil with a B eraser, which means you are not wedded to anything. You should be willing to throw this away. This is a work of 5 minutes. You should be willing to throw it away. That will help to take the tension off and let you learn how to innovate, how to improve what you're doing. Having that kind of a loosey-goosey attitude will stop you from being wedded to your mistakes, which is the worst thing in the world when you're learning how to do anything, is to be wedded to your mistakes. And the way to stop being wedded to your mistakes is for it to be casual. So that you can end up being wedded to the right things. So we're not going to stick with this, right? I'm not going to add a loincloth or a sword or hair or bracelets or boots or anything here. Instead, we're going to move on. We've done a template now. We want to start with the head. In this case, a very well-defined man. All of these details would be different if it were a woman or if it were a man who were less well-defined. But since Conan is very well-defined, I think our main problem here is that the pectoral region is a little bit too low and a little bit too developed. Although maybe not. This does present the image of a giant hulking man. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on next time to add, we're going to do a little bit more detail. We're going to bring it a little bit closer to being Conan. And I will see you then. If this was in any way enjoyable to you, I will see you then. Thank you, BookTube.